when you are 18 in Denmark, you don't have an education. You just have to get an education first, so it takes time. So I was just like, what am I going to do here? Because we can't live for my payment. So I was thinking about taking an extra job. And then a friend of mine called me up and said, "Hey, you know, I started working with this company, the Cincino company. You know that. Maybe it's for you." And I said, "Oh no, that's not for me. I'm a single mom. I have a full-time job and I have to take an extra job now and I have two teenagers and so on." I had a lot of excuses. But she was smart because she's a very, very good friend of mine. So she said, "Oh, that's okay. But I'm just brand new and I really need some people to practice what I'm going to say to people, to practice the presentation. And I would really love to do that with you because I know that you will have some good questions. Will you help me?" "Yes, of course I will help you." So she came to me a Saturday morning and we sat down and she showed me the plan, the business plan. And I was just like, oh my God, I have to do this. I don't know why, but I really, really have to do this. If I don't do this, I will regret it for the rest of my life. I have to try if I can make this work. But I didn't want to give her the credit for that, so I didn't say anything. And when she walked out the door, I was just like, oh my God, I have to. I think she was about 5 minutes away. Then I called her up and said, "You have to come back. I have to sign the contract." So she came back and I started as a partner. And I think maybe 3 weeks later, she called me up and she said, "I don't want to do this anymore." And I said, "What?" "I just started. We're going to build this together. No, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too tough and I don't know any people and all of that." And I was just like, okay. And she said, "Do you stop too?" No, I don't want to stop. I want to do this." So it's funny how we started. And when we started, I started in 2010 with Sensino, and we only had coffee. Actually, I don't know if you know that, but Sensino actually started as a coffee company. Yeah. So in 2005, they started with the Rambat Malongo coffee and the espresso machines. And I bought into that in 2010. In 2012, we were called into a meeting because Örjan, the founder of Sensino, wanted to tell us some big news. So we drove to Copenhagen. I live in the other end of Denmark, Aalborg, north. So we drove all the way to Copenhagen, and I think we were about, I don't know, 50 liters in from Denmark in the room that day. And Ern was on the stage, and he was just like, on fire, and he had a little bottle of something in his hand. And in the back of the room, there was a lot of people lined up on a with a long table, and they were ready to prick our fingers. And when he started to talk about balance oil and blood tests, I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't sign up for that. That's not for me. Much easier with coffee. Do you like the coffee? No? Okay, then you probably don't want it. Do you like the coffee? Yes, I like it. Great. Should I help you get it every day? So I was just like very, very, yeah, I must admit I was pretty angry all the way back to Aalborg. And I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to prick people's fingers. I don't like blood. If I wanted that, I would be a nurse. And I don't believe in all that magic about uh, vitamins and so on. I didn't know anything. I hadn't a clue about what the body needed. But we have the finger got pricked, and I got one bottle of oil with me home, and I put it in the fridge. And about a month later, I have met my husband in the meantime. We got married in 2015, so we weren't married at that time, but we lived together. And he started drinking the oil, and he had had some problems with his feet when he ran. He got a lot of pain, or if he had walked a lot on his work or something like that. And he said to me, I don't have the pain anymore. Do you think it's the oil? And I said, oh no. If it was the oil, the doctor would have told you to take the oil. But I started to take the oil myself because I had one bottle in the fridge, so I could at least taste it, and it was okay. I could drink it. So when I was almost finished with that bottle of oil, and one Sunday morning, I realized that I was under the shower, and I actually washed my hands with both hands, my hair with both hands. And I haven't been doing that for about 5 years because I had a lot of problems with my elbows, a lot of pain. Um, and when I stood there, I was just like, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's weird. And I came out to my husband and I said, oh, it didn't hurt. It doesn't hurt in my elbow anymore. That's amazing. And he said, do you think it's the oil? And I said, are you crazy? Of course it's not the oil. And then I stopped taking it because I didn't have any more. And about 14 days later, it started to hurt again. And then I got a little curious. So I opened Google and I said omega-3 and inflammation because I knew it was some kind of inflammation. And Google just pulled it out in my face. And I was just like, whoa, maybe I should take the oil. So I registered myself as a customer at that point. And since then, I just fell more and more in love with the oil and the rest of the products that came along. And I also I know a lot about what nutrients we need today. And of course, we have had a lot of education from Cincino, but I have also taken uh, some other educations just because I found it so fascinating what it could do. It was a whole new world, brand new world for me. So when I sit in front of a customer who is very, what's it called, has a lot of that don't want to hear, no, no, it can't be true, and what is that? And that's some kind of magic or magic pill, or I really understand them. And I always say to them, oh my God, you sound just like me. I can relate so much to this. So it helps actually to have a bad start because when I say that, people are more ready to listen. So it's great. We made a lot of customers. So actually, I met my husband in Cincino in 2011 at an event in Denmark. There was a man on stage talking about the four colors. I hope you've heard that on GoCore. If you haven't heard it, please listen to it. It's with Big L. And Kim, which is my husband, was on the stage and had a talk about the four personality colors and how it was. And I was just like, wow, this is exciting. I want to talk a little bit more with him. So today we are married and we built the business together. So it's pretty funny. Cincino can bring a lot of funny things along the way. Yeah. I would say that I had a lot to work with in my mindset building this business because I have always been, I've always had a boss who told me what to do and what not to do. And I really had that mindset of, oh my God, it's soon Friday. I love the weekend and but today I don't feel like I'm working. I use a lot of hours. I talk to a lot of people. I have a lot of meetings. I have coachings. I have team meetings like with you guys, but I don't feel I'm working. This is just, yeah, having fun actually. And that doesn't mean that I don't think that this business can be tough sometimes because it can. It can be tough to if you have a lot of no's, if you have a lot of partners who give up on their dreams and who doesn't do the business like they actually wanted when they started. And sometimes I can feel like a failure sometimes if I have partners that I really try to help. Um, so that can be tough, of course. But we have to sometimes I think if I would have stayed in my job, I had 11 bosses that could give me work when I was when I was at the office. So that was tough too, in a much different way because I hadn't anything to say. I just have to say, okay, I will do that. Yes, I will do that. Yeah, please give me something more. Uh, can I have a little bit more in salary, maybe? No, you can't. No. Okay, okay. This is much more fun. We can build people and earn money at the same time and give them a better health. It's a total win-win for me. I've never worked with anything that gives so much meaning before. Because every time you do something in this business, you have to you have to use your heart. You can't build this business without using your heart. Because people, if you really care for your partners and really want to help them and you really care for your customers, they can feel it. And I love that. I really love that. That's the best part. Yeah. So we weren't the fastest growing, but because I had a lot of mindset to do. So I would recommend everyone, no matter where you are in life and what you have been doing before, please listen to GoCore at least for a half hour every day. I listened 1 hour every day. I joined every meeting I could, every team meeting, every meeting that Cincino planned for us. And the last couple of years, my husband and I have been hosting the meetings here in Denmark for all partners in Denmark. And now it's some other people who's doing that. So we help each other make those meetings because they are so important. I would never have been a Royal Crown today if I didn't really took the education seriously. Yeah. It's okay if you have questions along the way. You can just put a hand up or something like that. When we started to build Cincino together, my husband and I, it was a blast. It was so funny because we had the same passion. We really wanted to build this business. So in the beginning, everything was just, yeah, we're just going to talk to a lot of people and do, 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 do. And along the way, I'm talking to you who is building as a couple because it's great, but it's also challenging. Yeah, Patricia is nodding. And because we are not one person, we are two persons, and we have to build the business. And it's so important um, that I don't try to be Kim and he doesn't try to be me, because we are so different in what we think is important. But the funny part is that's exactly what our team love us for, because they know if they want the hardcore plan, how to go from silver to diamond, they go to Kim. I can make the plan as well, but Kim is very, very good with the numbers. But I'm very, very good with the people and the products. So it's very good for the team that we have those different, what's it called? What's it called, Jimmy? Evner,
Skills.
skills. Thank you. The different skills. So, but that also meant that for many years, I was always the product expert, and Kim was the business expert. And one day, I was just fed up with talking about products. And it doesn't mean I don't love our products, I really do. But I wanted something more. So I said to Kim, I need to change how I'm doing this, because I don't want only to be invited to customer meetings with the team. I want to go to business presentations as well. It was always Kim they called for that and me for the products. And it took a year, I think, to turn it around. And now they are calling me as well for business presentations. But it took some time, and I had to realize it first as well. And I think that's one thing when we're working with Sensino and work the way we do, we will learn, we will never stop learning. We will never stop learning about ourselves, at least, and what we want, and we will change and we will grow and we will do something all the time. And that's also exciting, I think. When I talk to people about why they joined Cincino, I can ask you guys here, why did you join Cincino? What 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 can Cincino do for you? Keith?
Helen, I think for me personally, it was the chase for an opportunity to get out of the lifestyle that I had. I loved it, but I wanted something more for me and Patricia, and maybe to provide better opportunities for my children. So that was the main drive. When I spoke with Jimmy, I saw a glimpse of the opportunity. I just saw a platform,
Yeah.
but then it built up month after month, year after year to see, whoa, this is way too big for me to even consider not to carry on, because I think from early stages, the success, I think it's right there. It's just up to you if you want to go after it or not. So that
Yeah.
was the main drive for me.
Yeah. So you wanted to change how you lived, how you work.
Yeah, I was living for big corporate companies and I was just a piece of the puzzle, and you are a number, they pay you your wage, and if they want to replace it, they replace you. No one knows about anything. And then you going through your journey. So your holidays are always based on a budget, always 28 days of the year, and sometimes you can't even take holidays when you want to go on holidays because you got to be at work.
Yeah,
So I wanted to change that. I just wanted something different and more challenging and more with more meaning, like you said. The meaning, I think, was what is
yeah,
always also a big drive.
yeah,
And like you said, Zinzino just brings all of that.
yeah,
It brings financial, it brings the meaning, the intention, the impact that it has globally with people's health. And there's nothing better than this, I have to say. So that
yeah.
was the reason.
Okay. Anyone else want to tell something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith?
Well, I had a friend who did everything correctly: his health, his exercise, social life, attitude, positive. And he was looking forward to his 100th birthday. He didn't get to his 92nd birthday because he had a sudden collapse and he died. So I went from his deathbed to a meeting with Ricardo and my other friend who was taking the oil, and I determined that night that I was going to start on the oil because I want to live. And my friend, before he died, the last thing he said to me is, I want my life back. And he couldn't get it back.
Wow. Whoa, what a story. Yeah. Often I hear people actually like you said, Ricardo, they want to fire their boss, maybe. They want to decide for themselves how much time they want to spend on jobs. When they decide themselves when they want to go for a holiday or something like that. Some people start because they don't have much money. They want more money. And of course, some people start because they want to gain health or help other people gaining good health. But often I also hear that the reason that got them started also is the reason or the excuse that they don't do it. Do you get me? I want to quit my job, but I can't attend this meeting because I'm so tired today because I had a job to do today and I have to go to the job again tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's actually almost every time I talk to a person and we have a coaching, the excuse they have for not building the business was the reason why they started building the business. So sometimes we have to really be careful about what we allow to have focus, because whatever we focus on will grow. So if we only have focus on that job or not having any money, it will stay that way. And I know I had a job, I had a full-time job when I started building this business. The first 2 years, I had a full-time job, and then I built the business when I had when I finished work. And I remember I have listened to a lot of Go Course, and I remember I think I've worked with the business for about half a year or something like that. It was snowing. It was very cold, and I got home at 4 in the afternoon, and my daughter, she was around 15 or something like that. She was at home, and I came in and I said, honey, would it be okay if you just made your own dinner tonight? Because I have to lay down a little. I have a terrible headache. And I have a meeting at 7. And she said, okay. And at 6 o'clock, she came to the bedroom. And I was just, really, really, I had a terrible headache. And the room was dark. And she came in and she said, Mom, it's 6 o'clock. If you're going to get ready for your meeting, shouldn't you be up now? And I said, oh, yes, of course. Thank you so much. And she could see that I didn't feel well. So she said, why are you going to that meeting? You don't feel well. Why don't you just stay at home? And I was just like, oh yeah, why don't I? And then I remembered something from the Go Core. I remembered that when the times get tough, that's where you will know if you really built this business or not. So if I don't get out of this bed, it would be the same for me to say, I can't do this. So I got up and I got dressed, and it was a terrible meeting. First and foremost, when I came, it was on a farm, and there was a lot of snow, so my car got stuck in the snow. So I had to call them, and the husband of the farm, he had to come with hvad hedder en traktor, Jimmy?
Chef.
Yeah, I actually don't know what that's.
Matthew Ferguson.
Probably a truck.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so he came and he took my car off the snow, and we came in, and there were dogs and cats and kids everywhere, and there were food everywhere. And I was just like, oh, where should I put my products? Because there were no place I could put a bag because everything was sticky. And I was just like, what am I doing here? But the funny part was they bought 5 subscriptions. I didn't see that coming. But and I really, every time that I'm in a situation where I really feel that I can't do this, I don't know how, I don't know, I always think of that particular day where I took the decision that nothing is going to stop me. I want to build this business. I've always been a quitter. All my life. My kids are, they always say, oh, now she started to go to some kind of sport. She's done with that within a month. And they were absolutely right. Almost every time, because if I didn't succeed in an instant, I would just say, oh, that's not for me. So there were so many things in building Sensino for me. It was showing me, proving to me that I actually could do something really big and with all my heart. And the same, show my kids that they can do whatever they want to do if they just want it enough. So I think that's my biggest drive, building Sensino. That's actually proving to myself and my kids that we can do it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Helle. It's took so much out of what you said, and especially so much directed to mindset. And I take it For myself, I'm not talking on the behalf of the group. Each one has to think and realize what they have taken out of today. For me, definitely so many messages, especially in those moments that you realize, I don't want to do this meeting today. And I actually had that example when I got home. Today, I got home right at 8 o'clock, and I was supposed to have a meeting at 8 o'clock, and then it was 8:05, and the girl wasn't here. And I turned to Patricia. I actually hope she doesn't turn up because I'm really tired and I want to rest. And then she turned up, and then we had a really good call. And she's a nurse, or she's studying to become a nurse. And she's like, Ricky, this is what I need in my life. I want to know more. And then we had a quite quick first look, but now she wants to know more about the business and all of that. But it just came to me straight away as soon as you spoke, because I could have actually put all my energy for her not to show up in the meeting, and maybe it wouldn't happen. But you gotta stick there when you feel stuff and when it's harder, because once you train that muscle to have that positive mindset, then you train your mindset to be positive most of the time.
Yeah.
But if you train it to be negative, it's always negative, and it takes you down to the rabbit hole, and then you never get out of there. So yeah, this business is all about that. So Hal, thank you so much for today. I really took a lot. Yeah, a lot of stuff. So I appreciate. So just one final note, and moving a little bit away from the mindset and going more into the month that we are in. And I'm sure that you've done a lot of ECBX months.
Yeah.
What would be the message that you'd have for everyone here in terms of, shall I qualify? Why shall I bother qualify? And why shall I actually focus on having ECBX if I don't have a team below me because I just joined? So this could be the questions that could be around people's head. So what would be your answer to that?
Actually, it will be exactly the same as why you should go to a meeting when you don't feel for it. Because ECBX, every top leader in Cincino goes for ECBX. And they didn't just do it when they were a top leader. They did it from the beginning. Because if you have the mindset, it's all about mindset again. If you have the mindset that I want to go for all the campaigns, you will get a very big business. But if you have the mindset that, oh no, I don't have a team right now, it doesn't matter so much, and I really have to do a lot of work if I'm going to take another title, even if I have ECBX, that mindset and that will trigger you. So it's the same thing happening. Go for ECBX. It will be. I'm pretty sure that most of you will take a new title if you have the ECBX. I'm pretty sure of that. And the same goes for joining events. I know that the annual event in Oslo is sold out for the first time ever. So I hope you already have your ticket. If not, please go and buy the online ticket. And promise yourself to take that weekend and make it a Cincino weekend in your own house, or sit together with some people from your team. Because I've heard so many times that, oh, I didn't get a ticket, I'll just take an online ticket. And great, when I have an online ticket, I can just see it because then there will be a recording. Yeah, but you won't see the recording. I know that. Most people don't see the recording. So commit yourself to, if you really want this business, commit to the campaigns, commit to the events and everything that Cincino makes for us and your leaders make for you, because one day you are the leader. One day you are going to tell your team, this will be a good idea, and please come and join, and you are going to make new leaders in your team. So ECBX is one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most important campaigns we have, because there will be a lot of titles every time. And I'm not into titles. I don't give a damn. But I'm into titles when it's my team. Because when I have a new diamond in my team or a new gold, sometimes I cry because I know how much it means for them and how much effort and work that's been behind. So if titles doesn't mean anything to you, that's okay. It doesn't mean a lot to me either. But what means a lot to me is helping other people succeeding. And that will give me titles as well. Yeah. But yeah. So go for ECBX, really. It's worth it. And and you show your team, or if you don't have one, you will get one, and it will show them how to build a business.
Thank you. I don't know if anyone has any questions that would like to ask to Elle about anything. Because we are all, anything. So it's a unique opportunity. See if you want to ask anything. Because for me is, Elle, I remember when we started, my immediate reaction when Ricky said, "Oh, what about the business?" was that, "Oh, I don't want to be doing this. I'm very busy." But then I saw, for me, was the possibility of what I wanted to be more with animals. And that's what drives me. But at every single stage, we have a very different development. So how Ricky has been evolved, how I've been evolving is very different. And in the beginning, I saw myself assuming that I knew how to talk to people, despite Jimmy always telling me, "Patricia, you just invite, less is more." And it took me a while until understanding what was that, and monkey see, monkey do. So how was it then for you in the beginning, in terms of the following that system that we tell everyone, okay, just invite and we present together? Was it easy for you then to follow? Did you what was then, how did you then figure out, okay, no, I definitely have to do this, or how was it for you then?
No, I don't think it was very easy for me to follow the system, but at least I've actually been very good at reading the books they recommended, and of course the what's it called, Get Started, Express Start, and but I didn't want any uplines to help me. Come on. I'm a grown woman. I don't need anyone to sit by me and talk for me. I can do that myself, So I held 23 meetings alone and only got no's. 23 no's. And then I was just like, okay, this is now I'm either quitting or ask for help. So I asked for help. And I started to take an upline with me in the beginning and listened and learned. And yeah. So no, it wasn't easy for me to follow the system in the beginning. But now, and I also think Cincino has made, when I started, we sat with paper, a pen, and we said, "Oh, and then you are here, and then we put down here, and we put down." We had no videos. We had nothing. So today we are so blessed. Actually, we don't even have to say anything. We could just put a video on and okay, are you ready? Sign here. So yeah, it was tough for me in the beginning to follow the system.
Okay. But so there's hope. But it was that moment of, okay, it's not working, but then you had the courage to
Yeah.
ask for help. I
Yeah.
think that's the thing. Okay. Thank you, Al. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking the time to come to a cross line and support it in our growth.
And I'm looking forward meeting you in Oslo.
Thank you. Have an amazing evening and day, Keith. Thank you, Al.
Thank you
Bye.
very
Thanks,
much,
everyone.
guys.
So
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bom
Thank you,
dia.
Al.
Bye. Bye.